Greetings, fellow mutants, fellow mentally diseased mutants. And let me tell you something that happened the other day, man. I was going through some old videos, right? Old videos of, my kids when they were little, trips we took, and things like that. And I came across a video of Stephen Lett. Now, you might be wondering, why do I got a video of Stephen Lett in my Blu-ray collection? Let me give you some background. When I was a witness, I was a very dedicated individual. That's the kind of person I am, man. When I go into something, I go in it wholeheartedly, right? Unless it's at work, unless work. Who goes at work wholeheartedly? But if I join something willfully, I'm doing it wholeheartedly. I'm giving it my all, and I'm very serious about what I do. And I think that's one reason I didn't become an elder or ministerial servant. Oh yes. Some elders, when I was going to the hall, some elders came to me and said, we're watching you to become a ministerial servant. We're going to let you do the mics. Okay? I declined that. Because if I were to be a ministerial servant, I really wanted to give it my all. I wanted to be fully invested in it. Okay? But I couldn't do that. At that time, I was working, I would say, almost 60 hours a week. Plus, I had kids to take care of. I had a family. So, there was no way to do that. Plus, doing field service, going hard, I couldn't do all that. I would wear myself out because some would have had to give. All right? So, anyway, make a long story short, there were times I could not make it to the assembly because I had to work Saturdays. And so, what I would do is have my wife go to the assembly and record it for me, and I would watch it when I got home. That's how dedicated I was. But you ask any witness who knew me, I'm considered the baddest dude on earth. As a elder who I studied with told me, you can't rest on your laurels. Meaning that no matter what you do in Jehovah's service, not what you did, is what you're going to do. And this dude he said he served about 50 years. But he sit there and told me to my face, no matter what I did those 50 years in God's service, I can't rely on that. Despite the fact that the Bible will tell you that God will never forget the love you show for his name. This Jehovah does not concern himself with what you did in the past. It's what you have to constantly do. So yes, my wife actually seen Stephen Lett live in living color. But yeah, getting back to when I used to work 60 hours a week. I sit back and say, man, how did I do it? Because I would work 6 days a week, okay? Work 60 hours, almost 60 hours a week, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. I would still find time to go to the meetings, still find time to do the family study, still find time to go out in service at least 10 hours a month. But yet, none of the witnesses seen that. As Tupac once said, no one knows the struggle, they only see the trouble. And that's the witness mentality. They don't know the struggle of other witnesses in the hall. They just look for trouble as to why you're not doing what they feel you should be doing. I don't want to get off to this. But anyway, my wife's seen Stephen Lett live in living color. Now, the interesting thing, and this is one of the things that really kind of make me start to doubt. Because when I first started studying, I started studying the Bible with Jehovah's Witness in 98. I got baptized in 2003. Now, when I first started to study, I never heard about the governing body. I might be missing something, but they was not as much emphasized as it is now. Sometime around 2013, the governing body started to be really emphasized. And this started to really wake me up. Because I'm not here to follow any man. I'm not here to be devoted to any man. That's not what I joined. Okay? So, Stephen Lett came to our circuit assembly in 2010. He gave the concluding talk. As you know, it's either a traveling brother, the circuit overseer, or a governing body that's going to give the concluding talk of the assembly. In 2010. Now, me and Warwick didn't know who this man was. We were just intrigued by this man's facial expression. And every time we seen him after that, we like, hey, that's dude. We didn't know his name, we didn't know nothing. We like, hey, that's dude. Because again, In 2010, the governing body was not as emphasized, to me at least. I don't know about any other witness, but to me, the governing body, it was always the society or the organization. And as we know, when I first started studying until I got baptized in 2003, the faithful slave was considered all anointed Christians. But even still, in my mind, I said that none of the faithful slaves can come and say a doctrine and everybody listen to it. It had to be somebody up there, but I never put two together who was coming up with the doctrine. I just thought it was people who was writing the Watchtower. But I come to know now they have a writing department and they have different departments of that. But anyway, 2010, we seen Stephen Lett. I didn't know his name. I didn't know who Stephen Lett was until about 2 or 3 years ago. At least his name. I always know his facial expression, but I never knew his name. My wife never knew his name. Okay? Now, I kind of did this right here. I looked up a little history on Stephen Lett. Now, I'm going to play the video of what Stephen Lett was talking about at the end. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. I abbreviated it. You know, a circuit overseer company used to abbreviate the meeting. I abbreviated this doggone talk. Dude was talking weird, man. Because, you know, when you're at the organization, you start to hear things more clearly. I think when you go to the Kingdom Hall, I think that song lulls you to sleep. That instrumental lulls the witnesses to sleep. So while you're sitting there singing, that music is lulling you to sleep. So you don't really think clearly. They use key words. That's just what I think. But as I watched the video again of Stephen Lett, I'm like, oh no, this dude's something else, man. He was up there testifying and declaring and decreeing. I'm like, man. But anyway, I looked at Stephen Lett. Okay, there's a this is from the January 1st, 2000, and it talks about when Stephen Lett was appointed as the governing body. Because one thing I was wondering is, how are the governing body, how are they selected out of the 7 or 8 million so witnesses on earth, out of the 9,000 or 20,000 witnesses that's supposed to be anointed? How are the governing body members selected to join the ranks of governing body? I never got a clear answer about this, but I did get a clue though, because I know in Jehovah's organization it's all about numbers. Okay, in Jehovah's organization it's all about numbers. Okay, I say Jehovah's organization with a like that. Okay, but anyway, this one talks about the new members of the governing body. I'm gonna bring this back around as to why I'm reading this right here. It says on Saturday, October 2nd, 1999, at the annual meeting of the Watchtower Corporation, because remember corporations have annual meetings, okay, 4 members were anointed as governing body members. I'm just paraphrasing. You can check it out yourself if you want to. It's page 29. But they say at the annual meeting in 1999, they got 4 new governing body members: Stephen Lett, Samuel Hurd, Guy Pearce, and David Splain. Now, Guy Pearce, I think he died. I think he died. I don't know. He's not there no more. Okay, and I'm wondering, okay, how were they selected? How was the governing body member selected? How did they look around Bethel and looked at this wide-eyed fool with this facial torsion and say, Jesus wanted me to pick you? How did they do that? Okay? Because in my book, Stephen Lett probably walks around Bethel all day was doing that, even without even talking. Just his eyes was going big and small without even talking. It's like every time he's breathe, his eyes open. It's like he's breathing, he's exhaling, and his eyes are exhaling too. So how did they look around Bethel and pick somebody like Stephen Lett? So they give kind of a abbreviated life story of these guys as how they became appointed Bethel. And I looked at and I seen a similarity between all 4. Let me see if you catch them as to the qualifications of being a governing body member. Let me see if you catch it. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm just going to see if you catch it. It says Samuel Hurd started pioneering in 1958. He was in the circuit and district work. Thereafter, part of the United States Bethel family. Okay. Stephen Lett started pioneering in 1966. He served at Bethel from 1967 to 1971. He served as a circuit overseer from 1979 to 1998, and then he joined the Bethel family. You see any similarities? Guy Pearce and his wife started pioneering in 1982. He served as a circuit overseer, and he's been part of the Bethel family since. David Splain started pioneering in 1963. He served in the circuit work for 19 years and has been part of the United States Bethel family. Common sense to tell you how these members were appointed to be governing body members. Okay? In the Mormon church, the oldest member becomes the president. Okay? I'm not sure how the Pope is picked. I'm pretty sure he's voted in by the cardinals. But the governing body members, they never tell you. It's just their interest. We got a new member of the governing body. But as you've seen the similarity between all those, you get a clue of how they are selected. Okay? Whoever got the most brownest lips and the most reddest knees, those are the ones who become governing body members. Okay? Found something else of interest. And I'm asking you witnesses who's watching this video, explain something to me. I'm gonna ask you a question after this. Pop quiz from Who Are Doing Jehovah's Witness today. Page, lesson 20. How does the governing body function today? Okay, and if you go on jww.org and look under frequently asked questions about the governing body, it kind of says the same thing. But it says anyway, in the first century, a small group, the apostles and older men in Jerusalem, served as a governing body to make important decisions on behalf of an entire anointed Christian congregation. The pattern is followed today. Okay, the pattern is followed today. How? Because as far as I know, all the apostles were personally picked by Jesus. Nobody laid hands on them. Nobody appointed the apostles. They were picked by Jesus. Even Paul got a vision. Nobody appointed him, but he's still called an apostle. Paul walked around and was called the apostle, but no other apostle picked this man and say he's part of the governing body. In fact, there was no governing body in the first century. I've never read a governing body in the first century of apostles. And if you was talking about the patterns followed today, these apostles were sent out. Ain't that what apostle mean? Apostle don't mean somebody who's stationed in one city. No, the apostles, according to tradition, they went and fixed up congregation of churches throughout the Asian Empire, the Asian Minor, the Roman Empire. Okay? They did that, according to the Bible. But what did these governing body members do? How are they following that? Philip was out there in the doggone desert chasing a chariot. What is the governing body members doing? Y'all getting first class on the plane. Y'all got private vehicles. Y'all got air-conditioned motel rooms. Apostles didn't say all that stuff, man. Paul was a tent maker. What kind of work y'all doing? I don't see you guys going to uncharted territory preaching. I see the pioneers doing that. I see the Gilead School people doing it, but the governing body's not doing it. See, the apostles are the one who took the lead, but you guys are not. Here's a question for you witnesses. In the last paragraph, it says, its members, talking about the governing body, do not regard themselves as leaders of God's people. Let me repeat that again. I'm asking you something. Its members do not regard themselves as leaders of God's people. So if they're not leaders, why are you Jehovah's Witnesses following people who do not consider themselves leaders? Why? Didn't they say they were uninspired? So that means any revelation they get or any new light they get, that's uninspired light? Didn't they say they're not fallible? That word, I don't know. Didn't they say they're prone to mistakes, basically? Why are you guys following uninspired men who do not consider themselves leaders? But again, because they do consider themselves leaders. That's why. But in the written form, they're not leaders. But behind closed doors and in the Jehovah's Witness subculture, they are your leaders. And they consider themselves your leaders. And if you don't believe they are the faithful sweet slave, you will be disfellowshipped. You will be called an apostate. So Stephen Lett got appointed in 1999 to the governing body. Interesting. From 1999 to 2003, I never knew who Stephen Lett was. All I knew, he was that dude. But I never knew who he was. He was not emphasized until the year 2013. Why is that? Why are they emphasized now? Every time I had a question, my question was never answered. It was just another question came, well, who do you believe the faithful and discreet slave is? And so, elders, I want to personally thank you for asking me that, because that drove me out of this corporation masquerading around as a religious cult. Masquerading around as a religion when it's actually a real estate corporation, a Bible printing corporation. Thank you for asking me that, because I'm a thinker, man. I'm not like the zombies that walk around the Kingdom Hall that don't think. I think. And so by you guys asking me who do I think the faithful street slave is, you helped me realize that we were not serving God. We were not doing what Christians did. We were serving an organization under the leadership of the faithful and street slave, which is the governing body. Speaking of the apostles, I also wonder why, because didn't the apostles go to different parts of the earth and start to spread the word? You see? Didn't they go to different parts? So I wonder, why aren't the 7 members or now the 8 members go to different parts of the earth and station somewhere out there? I mean, you could send, guess what? Send Jeffrey Jackson, Australia. Send him out there. He could be the government member out there. Samuel Hurd to Africa. Send him down there. Send Splain over there to Asia. Send him over there. Send Sanderson down to South America. You see what I'm saying? Just send them all to different parts of the earth, man. Why are they stationed in one place? Why are they being served? I also heard one time it was an elder. He's not an elder no more. I don't know why. But he told me that, you know, if any of the governing body ever came to Hall, that they would have security. And I've heard that before. I don't know how true it is. I heard it before that they would have security. Did Jesus have security? Did the apostles have security? As far as I know, Paul got his behind beat. He got thrown in jail. What are any of these governing body members doing? Sitting behind a compound, coming on TV, giving talks. That's about it. That's the only persecution they got. Just something to think about, man. But yeah, I'm sorry I dragged on. Yeah, my wife met Stephen Lett. All right. But yeah, I'm going to play the video now. Really interesting, man. Stephen Lett, he was talking kind of weird. He was weird, man. He was kind of testifying about his life story testifying about how he was before he became a witness. And, you know, I guess motivating us to, I'll let you watch the video, man. Until next time, man, I want to appreciate you guys for listening to me, man. I know I can drag on and on. I just thank you for taking your time to listen to the video, man. It's just interesting experiences, man. And just sitting back, thinking about those years I was part of this thing. You get a lot of stories, man, and it's just interesting to reminisce about these things, man. But just looking at Stephen, it just brought back something to my mind. And so I abbreviated the video, man. Take it for what it is. Stephen Lett, that dude, he's something else, man. But anyway, thank you for listening, man. I'm out.
And Jehovah's prophet Elisha striking Boash to the ground 3 times feebly. But no wonder when we consider these few points. Now, if I would have been there, struck the Boash at least 5 or 6 times. Fully enthusiastic, courageous, fearlessly. In Panama is a chief known as Sarah, or some call it Herd the Dynamo, because every 3 hours on the hour he sings loudly and melodiously. Now, what if Sarah had been 1 second late? Oh, they would be a liability. But it's actually as unfathomable At such a time as this, you are sleeping and taking your rest? Look, the hour has drawn near for you. Makes a hissing noise. So at a time like this, you're sleeping? What's wrong with you, bitches? Now when do you pant? When you're lying on the couch watching television? On to the end. We can also have practice sessions to strengthen our fashion. And practice sessions can help them do well, and they'll practice a certain military maneuver. Review and discuss some of our videos. We talked about regularly enjoying intimacy. I want this person to measure the rate of flow of 9,192,631,770 vibrations in motion flowing continually. No, he's saying you better be the right kind of person. Of course, you'll say right down to the end, I sit as a queen. I will know no mourning. Never will I weep. That's right before her destruction.